In this video, I'll share some insights on why I added to Unico Silver and Nutrien and why I'll continue to buy more on any weakness. Unico Silver is shaping up to take a similar trajectory to AbraSilver, who has crushed it the last few years, expanding their resource to almost 500 million ounces of silver equivalent. Today, Unico Silver's projects in Argentina are already over 300 million ounces of silver equivalent, and they have over 60 million in Australian dollar cash. If we compare the market caps of the two companies and their resources, we can see that Unico Silver is priced at just 1/4 of the per ounce valuation that AbraSilver is. In other words, Unico Silver needs to go up almost 300% to match the valuation the market is pricing AbraSilver. You can see on this chart here that their primary silver resources of Unico are already close to AbraSilver. Now, obviously, these are different projects in different stages and with different variables to consider on deposit type, potential processing capacities, and everything else relevant for a mining company. From research I've seen, Unico is roughly 2 years behind AbraSilver. But even if Unico was worth half of AbraSilver based on other variables, we're still talking about Unico being undervalued by almost 100%. As Unico firms up the resource and moves through the required studies, the stock will likely see a re-rating closer to parity in valuation. This stock also has deep insider and strategic investor ownership, with insiders owning almost 30% of the company, and Eric Sprott and Sprott Asset Management are also on board. Why am I buying now? Because the silver market has signaled it's moving out of this consolidation range, and even if the upside isn't immediate, it's time to make sure exposure is taken, even if not the fullest position I would like. As those who watch my channel already know, I do have significant precious metals exposure of almost 50%, which is a combination of the metals themselves plus all of my mining equities. But the reason it's so large is because of my conviction levels, and I'm furthering that conviction by adding more Unico Silver. With my recent add, Unico is about 0.65% on my portfolio, and I'll continue adding up to about 1% on any further weakness. Moving on, Canada-based Nutrien is a strong player in the agriculture scene as the world's largest producer of potash and third largest producer of nitrogen. These are critical fertilizers globally, supporting crop yields and thereby food production. The fertilizer market tightened in 2021 and 2022 due to the Russia-Ukraine war. There was some normalization that followed, as you can see on the chart, but now the US-Iran war and impacts to the Strait of Hormuz are tightening the market again. And similar to the last run, Nutrien is well positioned to benefit. This is also in the midst of structural shifts to the next wave in food inflation and the agriculture markets. Food inflation dipped from the 2021 highs and is moving toward higher highs from the low in 2024. The agriculture markets also have great looking charts. Here's wheat with a very long base that it's starting to move out of. Here's soybeans, which have come off the lows, but this is a very constructive chart and it's starting to move through the 200-week moving average here. And sugar is also looking constructive. It's a bit of a laggard, but I do expect sugar to continue to break out like the other agricultural commodities are. And for these commodities I just showed, I have modest exposure through ETFs, and I also have a future option call on sugar. Coming back to Nutrien's chart and some stats, the stock is down about 20% from the highs. They also pay a 3.2% dividend, which is close to a high yield savings account, and their PE ratio sits at just 13.75. With my recent add, Nutrien is about 1.36% of my portfolio, and I'll continue adding on weakness up to about 2 to 2.5% of my portfolio. As always, I post all my transactions in real time on X. And for those interested in reading instead of watching videos, I'm starting to post my content on Substack as well, link in the video description. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.